this is going to sound somewhat frugal, but a lot of people, myself included, I've done this many times, will buy stuff that they don't really love because it's trending, because it might seem cool. And inevitably, they get bored of it very, very quickly. I've bought cars or motorcycles that I thought would have been cool just because they look cool, or they might have like a long term like value or feel for something that you want. But it's like the fun is in the ascension, right? When you get to the top, people spend more time climbing a mountain than they do at the top of the mountain, if I can put it that way, right? It's more interesting, it's more rewarding, taking step after step, looking back and seeing how far you've come than being at the top of the mountain. People don't spend very long at the top of the mountain, maybe a few hours, not that long in total, but ascension, the climb to the top is what matters. And then what ends up happening at the end of the day is they climb a mountain, they get to the top, they look around, they take some photographs, they pose, and then they climb back down and they go climb another mountain, and they do it again, and they do it again, right? Hikers do this with trails and paths, and it's like, bucket list that hikers want to do. And it's like, they'll do it and they'll do it again and again and again. And that's how humans are. Uh, but if you're a little more intentional about your attention, the amount of F's that you give to certain things, and not giving it away to things that don't really matter, that you're not really going to care about, that are just going to take up space, and stuff like that. Um, don't do it. One, or two, if you've done it and it's sitting around doing nothing for you, just sell it. Put it on Facebook Marketplace, whatever. Just dump it. Just get rid of it. So it's out of your way. It's out of sight. It's out of mind. Um, Next point I got in here is delayed gratification. Uh, this is a word that's going to be unfamiliar to many of you guys, especially the younger generation. Um, when my granddad told me the story, half my family's from the UK, but there was a very, I mean, it's probably still popular, but Marks and Spencer was one of the biggest department stores there. And let's say you wanted that woolly sweater over there. You'd go and work, you'd go to Marks and Spencer, you'd make a layaway payment. So you'd have the delayed gratification notice. It's hardwired into their psyche back from those eras. And then you go to work and you'd go back and you'd make another payment. Maybe after 3 or 4 installments, when you make the last payment, delayed gratification, you take that sweater home and wear it. You didn't have the notion of credit. It was layaway. It was making installment payments on something. When you paid for it, then you can take it home. But in things like when it comes to investing, you're too many people go for the quick fix, the get rich quick scheme. The invest in this obscure bullshit crypto. Number 18,821 on this chart, and you're going to be a crypto millionaire. Sure, maybe one in a million, maybe one in 500,000 people really like knock one out of the park, and they blow the doors off it. Um, but it's not a winning plan for the vast majority of people out there. Hoping to make money right away, hoping to get rich right away with your investment strategies. Again, time in the market is better than timing the market. Time in the market is gonna win 99% of the time when it comes to trying to pick winners. Just timing the market in that fund, in the index fund, whatever it happens to be. Just consistently doing it, starting at a younger age, and consistently being there for it. You understand? Um, Talk about delaying purchases. Um, Big purchases, and I made a note here, should not exceed 5 to 10% of your net worth. Right. So this is a rule that I created for myself years ago when it came to cars. I have a strong inclination for fast cars, fast motorcycles, and stuff like that. And I would always say, look, if I can buy this many times over, or if it's worth less than 5 to 10% of my net worth, then this is fine. This isn't that big of a deal. So some people will be like, "Oh, you're wasting too much money on a $300,000 car or exotic or Porsche, whatever." And it's like, maybe for you, maybe that's a lot of money for you, but when you put time into yourself, your net worth, and your wealth, and building stuff and having all those things, it doesn't. 5% is 5%. Just be intelligent about it, right? Um, Again, delayed gratification is very, very important. A lot of people I find today, they want to pop a pill and lose, 15 pounds in 2 weeks. That's why things like Ozempic are so popular, right? Semaglutide, whatever the ingredient is, but all of these, lose weight injections are so popular with people because it's easier for them to take an injection and lose the weight than it is to well, move more, eat better, sleep better, and all that sort of stuff, and do the work in life. So, they go and chase fast stuff. Put this cream under your eyes, lose 20 pounds. That's why you get these, uh, losers. I don't care. I'm going to call them losers, but it's like, you know, if you're getting something like liposuction, you're lazy. I'm just going to say it. You should go out there, healthy, exercise correctly, and put the time into it. Delayed gratification, but it's always quick fixes, right? Quick fixes. There's things that you can't quick fix that you might have to pay for. But for the vast majority of you guys out there, you can solve a lot of your own problems by delaying gratification and putting the time and work and the repetitions in to get what it is that you're looking for. Next one. Um, you're going to have to measure what you want to manage. So if money is something that you want to manage, if wealth is something that you want to create, if debt is something that you're working on eliminating, you need to track it. It's going to be honest. You don't need to buy a fancy app with a tracking metric or whatever. I mean, a lot of banks have them built in. They're okay. They work. A simple Excel spreadsheet, month at the top, what it is on the left-hand side. Like, let's say that you're tracking your net worth. Month at the top, year. Left-hand side, what is the item? Your crypto bag, your TFSA, your Roth, your RSP, your outside of that investment account, your precious metal holdings, blah, blah, blah. Write down the list. Every month, you're going to make a note as far as what the income is. And you just auto sum it. I'm not going to create a chart. Like the lazy guys will be like, Rich, can you give us your chart? No, you can't have my chart. My chart has my shit in it. Go make your own chart. Very simple. Excel is like, I am not a whiz when it comes to Excel or any of these formulas that you have to bury into it. Track what it is that matters to you, right? If losing weight matters to you, track it. If making money matters to you, track it. You're only going to manage what you're measuring. And just it takes an hour or two at the start of the month. The first of the month comes around, you sit down, you enter everything in there, done. And then you compare it to the next month. You can quickly, when you auto sum them all, take a look at the trend on what your net worth looks like. Very easy to do, guys. I mean, if you don't want to make your own Excel spreadsheet, then just go search on Google or whatever and go, wealth tracking spreadsheet. You'll probably find lots of blogs out there where they're all embedded in, and you can just, rip one off and stick yours in it, right? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 already. So we talked about managing, um, measuring what you want to manage. I'm going to talk about cars and home now. Okay, because a lot of people are just like, homes won't make you money, cars. I'll get to the cars thing first, a little bit. But there's a lot of financial gurus out there that are saying, don't buy a home. Okay, let's talk about the don't buy a home thing. Because the argument that they make is rent, invest that money that you would have been putting into a mortgage, into an index fund. And then you don't have to worry about replacing the roof shingles, the washer dryer, any of the HVAC components when they fail, home maintenance, insurance, flood insurance, hurricane insurance, all of this stuff, right? And yes, there is a cost. There's an annual cost. There's an absolute annual cost that a homeowner has to pay to manage the cost of his home versus the renter. The renter doesn't pay for that. Something breaks, the faucet's not working, the hot water's not working. You shoot a text over to the landlord, hey, shit's broken, can you send somebody over to fix it? The landlord has to take care of it, not your responsibility as a renter. Fine. Now, if you move around a lot, if you're a digital nomad, renting probably is a better idea for you. If you can keep your costs of living low and your income high, maybe it's a good idea for you if you like things. But here's the thing. I mean, if I take the house that I'm in, since I bought it, it's doubled in value. And the cost of maintaining the house, and I've done, being the 12 years that I've been here, what have I done? I've replaced at least half the windows, furnace, water softener, air conditioning unit. The roof shingles are going to need to be done in a couple of years, probably. Um, maintenance around the house, like general maintenance, house cleaning, lawn care, yard care, stuff like that, cleanup. It's probably amounted to less than 1 or 2% of the increase in value in the house. And in Canada, um, your increase in the value of the home when you sell it, it's tax free. Capital gains on your principal residence is tax free. So if you're listening to these guys that are like, don't buy a house, just rent, you've lost out on the opportunity basically to double your money. And housing here being, I mean, you can go back, let's say, when did I buy this place? 2010, 11, something like that. I think the average house in the GTA suburbs was about 750,000. I think the average house is 1.5 million now. So doubled your money, right? You lost out on the opportunity to make about $750,000 at a cost of maybe $40,000, $50,000 for regular expenses. Yeah, change the washer and dryer, change the stove because that died, change the dishwasher because that died. Yeah, there's costs associated with owning a home, but the vast majority of you, especially if you live in an environment where it's capital gains tax free, the appreciated value of your principal residence, it's a smart move. Again, there's environments and situations where it may not be a smart move. But if I was willing to bet the farm, I think a lot of these fucking financial gurus that are saying rent and put your money in the market rather than own a home probably own a home, if we're being honest. That would be an interesting exercise. The other one that I always hear too is, cars won't make you money, right? Cars are depreciating asset, Rich. That's a stupid investment. And every time I sit down with a guy that bought a expensive car, you need to understand something here, guys. We're not talking about a E92 BMW M3. We're not talking about an AMG product. We're not talking about your Supras of the world. We're talking about like cars that can actually go up in value if you buy correctly. There's been several cars that I haven't lost money on, and I've also used them to make videos and social media, and enjoyed them. And I mean, there's no way for me to tell how many people may have seen that and been like, yeah, I like this guy. Let's go follow him. As a result of that, because they have a similar interest. Um, what else with the cars? Oh, there's a networking component too. That's the biggest thing. Is a lot of guys would be like, I had no idea how many doors would open by being able to go to events and networking, rallies with other like-minded wealthy people. Being able to network in those spaces by having a nice car, by default, buys you admission to that room. You don't even need to if I'm being honest, you don't even need to have an exotic car to be in a room with wealthy people that have exotic cars. You can just take a look at schedules and calendars and follow the right groups on social media that organize cars and coffees and meetups for Ferrari groups and McLaren groups and Porsche groups and stuff like that. Show up with a camera and offer to be a photographer. Make yourself useful, and you can put yourself in rooms like that and get yourself in a very successful position. There's a well-known photographer here in Toronto, Lucas Garfone, shout out to him, that had a passion for cars for the longest time. And he now has a GT3 Touring, which is it's probably about $250,000 car spec'd out. And he's managed to buy that just to be a photographer for high net worth individuals, showing up at car and coffee events, track days, photographs for a lot of the major brands when they have a new release of a vehicle, a new press car, they fly him out, stuff like that, right? So don't think for a minute that the mainstream saying houses are a bad idea or nice cars are a bad idea. Are they, or are you capable of leveraging them to make money? Um, PJ, Exotic Car Hacks. I'm Canadian. I don't follow his system for moving through cars, but he seems to swear, and he seems legit, as far as I can tell, that you can get in and out of cars without losing any money, in some cases making money on almost all of them. And he talks about the buying cycle, what time of the month to buy, when the depreciation curve, you want to get into that car and get out of it. A whole bunch of things. Like I can go back to the R8, right? Like if you guys go back to the R8 years, 2017 to 2020, I think I had that car. It must have been 3 or 4 years, I think, because I sold it 2021. I made $30,000 on that car. Legit. So not all cars will lose money, right? You buy the right spec, with the right options on the car. in the right market and sell it in the right market, you're not always going to lose money. So don't be afraid to figure those things out, right? I'm not your teacher in that area. There's lots of people out there that are smarter than I am that have figured out more, but I've just, like I've just dropped a few gems for you. I really hope you guys enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full-length podcast, you can find that over here, that clip's from. If you're newer to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe over here and pin down below in the top comment. You'll find a bunch of useful links to my website, my supplement line books, and a bunch of other stuff. Have an amazing day. Peace out.